Wonderful day, Ritualians, and welcome to Rich Learning, a diverse approach to understanding culture, society, and politics. In behalf of all the teachers in UCSP, I'm Mrs. Rab Singh, and together, we will broaden our knowledge to be socially and competent individuals. To establish the content of this lesson, let's talk about our objectives. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to, first, identify the development of oneself and others as a product of socialization and enculturation. Second, identify its content, context, processes, and consequences. Next, identify the social goals and the socially acceptable means of achieving these goals. Then, advocate inclusive citizenship. And lastly, promote protection of human dignity, rights, and the common good. Before we start discussing the lesson, let's do the preparations 101. Kindly prepare your Rich Learning Guide as a great source of this week's lesson. Just make sure that you have your pen and paper as for note-taking. And the most important is the creativity beyond our mindset. These things will help us to fully understand the lesson. In our previous lesson, we discussed about evolution and how the human background provided an impulsion to man's social behavior as influenced by hereditary and genetic signs. To give us some information about the evolution of man, kindly watch the short video. Did you know that the human lineage diverged from that apes at least 7 million years ago and maybe as long as 13 million years ago? The oldest known fossil attributed to our genus, Homo, dates to about 2.8 million years ago and was reported just this year. You did great in our last lesson. You are truly amazing. So, are you ready to start the lesson 4? If yes, let's start by defining socialization and enculturation. The self is the product of social processes, although people mature as biological entities. It also emerged from social interactions. Interactions take the form of socialization and enculturation. Why each of the people needs to experience socialization? Socialization is the process when a human learns the cultural body of knowledge and skills through education, exposure, and experience. Meanwhile, enculturation is the process of passing on the cultural knowledge to the next bearer, who will ensure the continuance of their traditions and practices. Also, it focuses more on the acquisition of cultural traits. Always remember that enculturation and socialization work together as the individual learns how to act in a particular society. If successful, enculturation results to competence in the language, values, and rituals of the culture. Both enculturation and socialization results to the following. The first result is identify formation. For example, the exposure of Filipino with the culture of Chinese explain why we acquire certain Chinese traditions like the liking of noodles and celebration of the Chinese New Year. Next is norms and values. Norms are fundamentals to the establishment of social order in any society. You have to remember that the norms did not appear in air. Norms are created by people who benefited from its existence or suffer from its absence. When a member of the society follows the rules, norms, order is established. In our country, we have the values like respect for elders, caring for one's parents during old age, eating together as one family during meals, praying the rosary, attending mass during Sundays for Catholics, observing the 5 pillars of Islam for Muslims, and as a sense of volunteerism during emergencies and disasters in the community. In the Philippines, there are norms that are culturally identified rules or guides. This helps the society identify if the behavior of the member of the society are right, wrong, proper, or improper. Meanwhile, an example of taboo and predatory are engaging into premarital sex, testifying falsely to the court proceedings, illegal activities such as drug trafficking and pushing. In short, taboo means forbidden or unacceptable in society. Abortion, addiction, adultery, cannibalism are some examples of taboo activities. Here are some norms in our country. The norms of appropriateness, like wearing appropriate clothes for a particular occasion. For example, if you're going to church, you are expected to wear something that is not too revealing of skin, something that is decent. Second popular norm is the norm of tact and courtesy. Filipinos are known for being excellent in handling human relations because we value significantly personhood and human goodness. The two most important values that Filipinos possess are industry and utang na loob, or debt of gratitude. Industry is shown when Filipino takes pride of his work because he or she works hard for it. And utang na loob is shown through truthfulness and goodwill. Now, let's talk about social control mechanism. According to studies, social control refers to the mechanism a society uses to get individuals to conform. A broad definition of social control is all of the formal and informal mechanism and internal and external controls that operate to produce conformity. The first society control mechanism is labeling theory. This refers to a theory of social behavior which states that the behavior of human beings is influenced significantly by the way other members in society label them. It has been used to explain a variety of social behavior among groups, including deviant criminal behavior. Second is gossip or gossiping. In other matter, gossip means chatty talk. According to dictionary, gossiping means talk or humors involving the personal lives of other people. Or in Filipino term, it is called as chismis. The third social control mechanism is law. Laws are a guide to make sure that member of the society will conforms to the set of rules, norms, and mores. It is also the discipline and profession concerned with the custom, practices, and rules of conduct of a society that are recognized as binding by the community. After discussing social control mechanism, let's talk about strain theory. This theory states that people express deviant behavior when exposed to strain and tension situation, or when the society imposes goals that individual must achieve, but the society or environment make it hard or challenging. Members of the society react to strains in 5 different ways. First is conformity. It is a change in behavior or belief as the result of real or imagined group pressure. Second is innovation. It is another term for a new idea, method, or device, or simply the introduction of something new. If you want to be the best, you must be more innovative and more creative in doing your work. Third is ritualism. It happens when individuals still live in the society but do not accept or try to do the cultural goals. Fourth is retreat. It has happened when individuals no longer desire to achieve cultural goals and completely abandon the culture itself. Last, but the most hazardous one is the rebellion. It happens when individual challenges the existing culturally approved way and try to make a new one. Here are the 3 ways on how sociologists view deviance. Always keep into your mind the difference between socialization and enculturation. It will help you to become a better person in your community. And that's all for this week's lesson. If you have any concern or question, don't hesitate to message your subject teacher. Don't forget to become polite. So, hi, Ritualians!